Yeah. Welcome back to database training session. See, in last session, we worked with the joins and we created even view. Okay. So views are basically you can think it as a virtual table kind of thing. Physically, no table is going to be existing as far as views are concerned. Views are a safe way to access data from the database tables. You can actually restrict sensitive information from being seen with the help of the views. So using views, we can insert data, we can update data, we can delete data. Okay, so we can select data. All these you can do. But as far as editing data, updating data, and deleting data is concerned, it may not be always possible with the views. Particularly, if the views contain actually joins. That means what? When you select data into a view from multiple tables, at the time, always that may not be possible. Okay, views are nothing but basically they are wrappers around the select statement. Around select statement, we write a wrapper. With the help of that wrapper, we create virtual tables. Physically, no table is going to be existing here. We don't have any physical table existing in that. But in the view, you can have aliases for the selected columns. For selected columns, you can be having aliases. Duplicate names you can have in the views. So using views, you can actually, with the help of views, you can restrict accessing sensitive information. For example, take user table. In the case of user table, you may have a user ID, then username, then followed by probably a password may be available, password hint may be available. If normally it is allowed to access user table as it is, people can actually access the password field or they can modify password field. So instead of that, if you just use a view and you can restrict the password field or sensitive information like for example say security question 1, security question 2, such things actually you can hide from the end user perspective. Okay, so therefore with help of views you can provide some sort of security. Some sort of security you can provide with the help of the views. But imagine one scenario. In the case of views, suppose first of all we had one or two tables, or it may be more than two tables sometimes. So using joins, we select data from more than one table. So initially we created a view. In that view we have a select statement. The select statement does consist of actually joins. So using joins you are retrieving data from more than one table in that particular select statement. Okay, you created view, the view is working fine. For some time you work with that comfortably, it's over. After some time you wanted to drop the table, you will drop the table. But if you drop table, what will happen to the view? Accidentally in your application probably somewhere people might have used the view. Okay, now when they run the application, since you have dropped a table, when the application is running, what will happen to view? View tries to fetch data from non-existing table because you have dropped a table later on. So therefore, it becomes orphan. The view is going to become orphan. Similarly, the view may contain actually a column selection. Okay, in the select statement, you may have a column. Probably the column name you have dropped in the table. So in such cases, again, what will happen? It's going to be same problem. So therefore, in order to overcome such problems and in order to prevent the view is getting orphaned, you can actually use a class called as schema binding. So with the help of schema binding, you can actually, you can protect the view from getting orphaned. Okay, so you can protect the view from getting orphaned with the help of the schema binding. Now let me try to show you that. But further, what I do, I open the retailer DB 100. I write like this: use retailer DB 100. Like this, try to use. I open this now by typing the command, use command, followed by retailer DB 100, then I execute. Now this is open. When it is opened, you can see here clearly. Now come to this, then here, go with the selection of data. What are the different tables we have in this? First of all, let us see. The tables are like this. We have here a TBL result. We have here a table called as TBL result. What data is available in this? Let us see. The columns are going to be something like this. Okay, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, total, result. Okay, now here, let me select data from this table. Select, start from, what I do here, this is TBL result. So this shows actually now data for us. Whatever data is available in this, it's going to be showing. So like this, I have written. In the same way, I can write like this also. I want to create a view for the table, but in this view, I want to just go with a new, something like actually student name. I want to take here. Then total I want to take, result I want to take from these things. I want to go with the total, I want to go with the result, and I want to take the student name. So let me write that here. I write create view, I put followed by here VW then underscore. This is what student result. Like this I make. Then as what I do, select what column names I require, student name, then this is total, and one more thing here, result. From what is the table name? Table name is here TBL result. Like this we try to select it. So create view VW student result. I select student name total result from TBL student. Like this I want to make it. Just check for the syntax, then execute. Now what happened here? I created a view in which I have here total 3 columns. I write like this. Select star from VW underscore student result. Like this I try to use. So what result I get now? See. Invalid object name it is saying. I think somewhere the spelling mistake. Student this is. In the place of R I should have T. Now I can get the result here in this. I am getting student name, total and result. Okay, I am going to get student name, total and result. Now let me drop the result column from the table. If I drop the result column from table, what will happen? See, let me go with the alter statement of the table command there. Alter table followed by table name is TBL result. Then what I do here, drop I put here, followed by I would like to write here result. This way I want to drop it. Now select and execute this. So result column must be dropped. Sorry, so drop column you need to put in such cases. If it's a constraint, you don't require actually anything. So drop column result. Now what happened here? It is getting dropped. The column is getting dropped here. Okay, the column got dropped here. But if you go with select star from VW result, what happens? See now with this. It gives error. Now you have a binding error. What happened in this? The VW student result contains actually 3 columns, student name, total, result. Okay, but here what is happening? I have dropped column. After that again I am using the select statement. It's trying to select the 3rd column called as result, which is not possible here. You cannot actually do that. If you try to do, definitely it gives error. So therefore, here what happened? It has become now orphan. You cannot use this particular procedure. Sorry, you cannot use this view here because the view is containing here a column called as result. So result column is missing now in the given table. If you look at the table, if you refresh the result table, you can find here you cannot find the column called as result here. So there is no result column because I have dropped from the table. So using alter statement I have dropped it. Therefore the view is now useless. It has become orphan, it's actually useless because it can't refer the result from the given table. So in such cases, what happens now? The view becomes actually unnecessary headache for us. So suppose in your code somewhere if you are using view, then it becomes a problem. So therefore, in order to prevent such things from happening, what you can do, you can bind with the schema. Okay, whenever you have a view like this, in such cases, if you try to delete a result from the table, original table, it will not allow dropping of such particular column from the table or dropping of the table as long as view is associated with certain table. So therefore, now try to here bind with the schema. So further we should be binding with the schema binding class we use now. Here what I do, I write like this, alter view. Okay, I write here alter view followed by here VW underscore student result. Okay, I write like this here, followed by with schema binding I want to use. Schema binding. Okay, as schema binding, then followed by as here select. What I use in this? Now I use select here student name, comma. Next thing is what here? Total from what table? TDL result. Just try to use this. What happens? See, student name, comma, total from TDL result. Now try to just select it. So what it says here? Hmm. So just try to write like this here. There should be something like s dot student name, s dot total, then followed by here from TDL result, yes we put. Like this, let us try to make, then try to alter the view in this. Hmm. Okay, why it is actually fine. So what I do, I just drop first of all the view. I would like to drop the view here. Here, right, drop view followed by VW underscore student result. Like this, I put this. I just want to drop it here. I have dropped this. After that, I try to create here a new view. Create view, create. Like this, I try to make line number 4. This is cannot schema bind view because name TBL result is invalid for schema binding. Fine. So it should be dbo dot. Let me put here dbo dot. I put, then followed by here. Let me execute this. Now what happened? Commands completed successfully. Okay. Now this got successfully here created. Fine. Now what I do in this, I try to select data from the given view. Select star from VW underscore student result. Like this I create. I am going to create a table student, from the view I am selecting. Now what I want to do, I want to drop a table, I want to drop a column called as total from the given table there. I just want to drop it. So therefore I write alter table followed by TBL result, RESULT result, then here write drop column followed by total I put. Like this I try to drop it. When I try to drop, this may give error here. What it says, order table drop column total failed because one or more objects access this column. So here the view object is since accessing the total column, we cannot do that. If you try to do that, it gives error. So this way what is happening, the view is not getting orphaned here. So when you bind with the schema, in such cases what happens, it does not allow modifying of the table. If you try to modify table, it does not allow there actually. So this is the advantage you have with the schema binding. Now let us see further. Let us try to add a new column. Alter table, TBL result. Now this time what we do? We try to add. I want to add a column called as result here. Varchar some 4 I put like this. So I want to add here a new column called as result. Just execute. A column can be added because right now the column is not associated with the view there. So therefore I could add a new column successfully to this. I could add successfully into this. Suppose now I want to drop the entire column itself. If I want to add entire column itself, what will happen? Let us see here. I would like to drop the column totally. This time I want to drop the, not column, I want to drop the table totally. So what will happen? See this. Now right here, drop table, followed by here, TBL result. Put like this. Try to drop the table. Drop table, TBL result. Now just execute. It says, cannot drop table TBL result because it's being referenced by object VW underscore student result. So like this you can bind with the schema there. So using schema binding, if you do like this, then in such cases what happens? Here it will not allow the table to be deleted if table is referred in any view. If any object is using this one, so in such cases what happens? The table cannot be allowed to be dropped. Similarly, the table columns also you cannot modify. Those columns, if you try to, if you are using the select statement of view, in such cases you can, this will not allow table to be getting modified. Okay, so table from getting modified, this can be, here, so it's not going to allow. So it will not allow table modification or dropping of the table totally. So like this, we can use actually the schema binding. We can use the schema binding in that manner. Similarly, if you want to, if you want to actually encrypt the view, that can be encrypted. That I think we have seen. VW underscore person the other day we encrypted. So these are few mechanisms with views. If you use, then definitely it's going to be really good. You are developing database in a better fashion if you use all these features. Try to use views as much as possible. Okay, so the views are also very important objects. Similar, like views also we have seen other object called as synonym. A synonym is nothing but actually a temporary table, permanent alias for the given table. So with synonyms, what happens? You can provide a permanent alias for the table. Now in this example here, TBL result, S we are using. S is nothing but a temporary alias. Only within the select statement it is available. But as far as synonym is concerned, it's going to be a permanent alias. Alias you can have forever using synonym. We have seen how to create synonym also. But using synonyms, you cannot actually alter the table, you cannot drop table. Okay, only for the DML operations you can be using the synonym. With the help of synonym, you cannot perform any DDL operations. You cannot perform any DDL operations with the help of the synonyms. Synonyms are basically meant for DML, data manipulation language, or DQL, data query language. For that we use. So here what we created a view called as student result that we are binding with the schema. Okay, so after creating this view, if you try to modify the result table with these columns, whatever you specified in the view definition, if you try to tamper with those columns, definitely it will not be allowed. Similarly, if you try to drop the table also, it will not be allowed. So like this, views, you prevent views from getting orphaned. So this is one advantage with the schema binding. Okay, so this is basically schemas. Then we have seen actually various DML commands. Then we have seen synonym, how to create table also we have seen. We discussed much about actually the primary key, foreign key, unique constraint, check constraint. We worked with all those things. Okay, even we were discussing about the programmability part. We have seen how to use existing functions. Okay, similarly we have written few code blocks, anonymous code blocks we have written. In that we use if condition, we use sometimes for loop, then we created local variables. Okay, we have used sometimes even the system variables called as global variables. The system variables will start with added. We cannot define system variable. Similarly, we can create our own variable using add symbol. With the help of declare statement, we can be declaring variables. So in the anonymous code blocks, we have used them. Also, we have seen how for loop can work. Okay, so regarding programming, I gave a little introduction to you, and we have used different functions also. Like mathematical functions we have used, operators we have used it. Okay, now we have seen actually string functions. We have seen string functions. We used actually aggregate functions in the select statement with the group by class. With the group by class, we have used the aggregate functions. So with the datetime functions also we worked. Okay, so once again we come back to programming part, because to develop your own procedures, your own functions, your own triggers, what we need is we need to have good holdover programming. So that we do with the help of the TSQL. So using transact SQL, we can actually develop stored procedures, stored functions as well as triggers. But before that, once again we revive. We have two different types of variables. One is what? Local variables, other one is system variables. Local variables start with @ symbol followed by variable name, and this variable must belong to any one of the SQL Server data types. Okay, whereas the system variables are already defined, they start with @. Okay, you can use them, but you cannot tamper the system variables. System is going to be handling those variables. Fine. To declare a variable, a local variable, we need to use declare keyword followed by @ symbol we use. Declare at variable name followed by type of data. Immediately you can assign a value when you declare variable, or after some time you can be doing it. Something like this. So here I try to write sample code once again. Sample code block, or this can be here anonymous code block. Put like this. Now here declare @ amount, right besides here float I use. This is what approximate. Here I can specify something like 1, 2, 3, 4.56, like this I can specify it. So this is what exactly this is called as here, approximate numbers. Exact numbers we have, approximate numbers also we have. Declare, now right here @ age as int. After that I can write set at age equal to, here put something like 23. So this way you can declare variables and you can use. So at amount, at age, wherever you declared in that code block, they will be available. But once you come out from code block, they will not be available. So they are not going to be available once you come out from that. So therefore, here we can declare variable with the help of the declare keyword. Okay. So when you write code blocks, there is a possibility of getting runtime errors. You get actually sometimes runtime errors. So runtime errors you may be having. So runtime errors are caused whenever you try to execute a procedure or function, or it can be some kind of event or trigger. So whenever these are working, actually whenever your code blocks are working, at that time they may throw some exception. It's called as runtime error. So as far as SQL Server is concerned, the runtime errors have a severity. They have severity. So severity level can be from 0 to 25. From 0 to 25. Okay, if severity level is in the range from 0 to 10, it's called as a warning. It's not an error. If the range is actually, severity level is going to be a number. It can take a value from 0 to 25. If severity level is actually in the range from 0 to 10, it is nothing but a warning. It's not actually error, it's a warning. Similarly, if error range is from 11 to 16, so in such cases, it is actually error in your code. In your TSQL code there is error, so that's why it is showing you 11 to 16 error code. Okay, it can be any error code 11 to 16, but 12 is not used in that. It's reserved for something. Okay, so severity level 7 to 25 shows resource problems or hardware problems or some internal problem it is. Severity 20 or above 20 is going to be really fatal, and fatal error that may close the connection. It may close the connection to the SQL Server database. So therefore, you have severity levels as far as runtime errors are concerned. Okay, as far as runtime errors are concerned, you have actually severity levels from 0 to how much? 25. So for example, you take 0 to 10, these are all warnings. Similarly, Here 11 to 16 they can be called as actually the errors caused due to your code. Whatever code you write, because of that code the errors are caused in that, and 12 is not used. Number 12 is not actually used. Then 17 to 25 are called as actually, I mean, because of resource problems, because of internal problems, or because of hardware problems, these happen. So here, if the error level is actually the severity level, if it is 20 or above 20, in such cases it's going to be fatal. That may that may close the connection totally. Connection to the database can be getting closed if the error is above 20. Error severity level is 20 or above 20. Connection is going to be getting terminated automatically. Okay, so like this we can actually use the errors. To handle errors, we use actually try-catch blocks. So try-catch blocks are called as exception handling mechanism. They are nothing but exception handling mechanism. So using exception handling mechanism, we can actually handle the exceptions. Okay. Now other thing is, okay, one more thing is, normally whenever you are manipulating data, whenever you interact with database, you may use some queries. With the help of queries, you interact with database. Okay. See, from client, every time you need to send a command. The query you need to send every time. It has to go all the way to, say, server. Passing through the network. It has to go to server. In the server, that should be translated from text format to machine understandable format. Then it has to be executed. So there can be problems with such approach. One problem is going to be network traffic increases. Second problem is going to be people can intercept that. Since it's traveling over network, that can be intercepted. Okay, third one can be actually, SQL injection is possible. Into your query, some SQL code can be injected. So if SQL code is injected, the SQL code may be containing some unwanted commands, like they may use delete command or drop command, something they may use. So with that, what happens? Your database may be getting corrupted. So it may be getting damaged. In order to avoid such things, instead of using inline SQL queries, try to use the procedures. So using procedures, such problems we can overcome. Okay, so procedures are nothing but code blocks which we write using TSQL code, and we compile. Whenever you create, at the time itself is going to be getting compiled. After that, it will be getting saved in the database itself. Okay, that means what? The compiled code is available in the database itself. That means you need not be sending all this command from your client machine to the server. So it is already existing with the server. So from client, what you do? You just refer the procedure name, followed by you pass the parameters. You are going to send data as parameters. So when you send data as parameters, it will be treated as data only. It can be never treated as a command. So therefore, whatever, even in your parameter, if you have any command, DML command or DCL command or DDL command, nothing will happen with that, because that will be treated as actually data. So since SQL Server is going to be treating the parameter size data, there will not be any problem. So therefore, with the help of procedures, what you can do? First of all, network traffic you can decrease. Okay, the execution can be instantly. Reason, if you send actually inline SQL code, it should be sent to the server. In the server, that should be translated to machine understandable format. Then that has to be executed. So it is going to be adding some extra overhead. But in the case of procedures already compiled ones, instantly they get executed. This is second option. Now come to the third option. In the case of third option, parameters whatever you are sending, you send few parameters. Parameters whatever you send, they will be treated as just data. They are going to be treated as data. They will not be treated as commands. So therefore, here there is no possibility of injecting any SQL code. These are the advantages you have with the procedures. Okay, to share data with database using procedures, you need to have actually parameters. So there can be two types of parameters: input parameter and output parameter. When you combine these two things, it can become even input as well as output parameter. Okay, parameters are either input or output, or they can be input as well as output parameter. That means a parameter can be behaving as input parameter as well as output parameter. So that way it can be treated. So therefore we have here three different types of parameters: in parameter, out parameter, as well as in out parameter. In the case of input parameter, it's only one way. From external program, you can send data to the, say, procedure it is. So with the out parameter, what happens? Using out parameter, first of all, you are going to send data from calling program to call program. Okay, then in the procedure, data is available. After modifying, after manipulating data, whatever result you want to send back to the calling program, you can send with the help of the output parameters. So with the help of output parameter, what happens here? You can be exchanging information between the caller and callee. So you can exchange. For example, caller is going to be your web application. Callee is going to be here what? Your SQL server procedure. So what happens? From your web page, data can be sent to this procedure. So your web page is what? Caller, whereas your stored procedure in the SQL server can be called as your callee. So what happens with the help of output parameters? Output parameter will be sent by your caller. It's nothing but a web page. You send actually a parameter to callee here. So callee, what exactly it does? It's going to be manipulating data. Then after that, using the output parameter, it can send data back to the web page. So like this, you can use actually output parameters. Need not be only with web pages. It can be desktop application, it can be console application, it can be anywhere. Wherever you would like to use, you can use such mechanism. Okay, so therefore here we can pass the parameters in two ways. One is input, other one is output parameters. Okay, to create a procedure, we use actually create procedure command. See, the limitations of procedures are going to be, procedures can be executed using exec command. Okay, using exec command, you need to execute procedure. Exec followed by procedure name. Then if you pass any parameters, you need to pass parameters after the procedure name. You should not use these parameters in the parentheses. You don't use any brackets. Simply after procedure name, you need to type the parameters. So if you have more than one parameter, separate them with a comma. Like that, procedure parameters have to be passed. Okay. Second thing, you cannot use a stored procedure within the select statement. In a select statement, you cannot use a procedure. You cannot use a procedure name within the select statement. Whereas a function you can use within the select statement. Okay, now we are going to here create a procedure. With the help of that, what we do, we try to insert a category into a category table. Into category table, we can insert data. Now see here, what are the tables available? We have these tables. TBL category, we have here. So TBL category, this contains cat ID, cat name, cat level, super cat ID. Okay, so any procedure, is it already created? Let us see in this. Any procedure, is it available for us? Let us go and see in this. Here you have programmability, go with the stored procedures. We have here add new category. Let me open this. I just want to modify this. Okay, I just want to modify here. When I go with modify, it is available like this. Alter procedure, it's written like this. So instead of modifying this, what I do, I drop the existing one, I create new one. So once again, I create a procedure, because sometime back I saved a procedure. Somewhere I have saved a procedure. That procedure I can be getting back. I can get back that procedure here. So I just go with a new query editor window. And here I'll be opening the procedure which I created. Go with open, then here file. So from file, now I can choose here. All files are given here. Go to the desktop. In the desktop anywhere, do I have any procedure or not? See. So here we have a procedure. Somewhere it saved that. Let me open that. So this is going to be what XML file, PDF collection, Hibernate, local server I have like this. Okay, video recording, which starts with I, E, F, G, H in quotations. Here you can find the procedure. Some procedure, SQL, with that it starts. Okay, here only SQL, no, all files, let us see. Let us take all files. With SQL, they are going to be starting. This is SQL query with procedure code open. So what is happening? First of all, I am opening the database. After opening database, okay, let me open. Already database is open for us, but still, once again, try to open it. Now here, select from the category table what data is available. This is the data available for us. Okay. If you come into this here, now instead of alter procedure, here I can put create. I can use a create procedure. Like this, I can use. So here, I would be dropping it. I can just delete the procedure. Okay, I'm going to delete the procedure. It got deleted now. Here, create procedure, USP underscore add new category, at cat name varchar of 50, at supercat ID INT, at MSG varchar of 100 output. Like this, I'm taking it. Create procedure, USP underscore add new category. See, the system defined procedures have a prefix SP. System defined procedures have a prefix SP. Suppose you want to create your own procedure, put it as USP. So if your procedure is starting with SP, it takes a lot of time to search it. It takes a lot of time to search. So quickly it will not be getting executed because there are so many stored procedures, thousands of stored procedures predefined you have. So instead of SP, try to put USP. So if you put USP, very quickly this can be retrieved because you find only few user stored procedures. You don't have actually thousands of procedures which you are going to write. So therefore try to add USP underscore add new category. With this procedure I am trying to add a new category. Then here I am following three parameters at cat name varchar of 50, at supercat ID INT, at MSG varchar of 100 output. We have total three parameters: cat name, supercat ID, and MSG. Then we have written here this as begin try catch blocks for exception handling. Begin try, we are starting it. Okay, if length of LTrim of at cat name greater than 0. Okay, so here if the cat name, whatever cat name you give, if it is greater than 0, in that case it executes. So whenever you invoke procedure, if you don't specify, if you give empty string for the cat name, it will not accept. Because without having cat name, you can't do anything. Because this particular table, category table, if you look at it, category ID, category name, category level, super category ID, these columns we have in this. Cat ID is what exactly? It's a identity element, automatically that gets entered. Cat name we must enter. Cat level will be created automatically. Cat level is going to be created automatically here. And supercat ID, you may have value or you may not have. For example, you look at toys. So in the case of toys, what happens? It's the top level category. It does not have any super category. Under toys only, other toys are available. Similarly, look at the stationery. In the case of stationery, it's going to be top level. Under that, you have textbooks. So therefore, here super category ID is going to be null for stationery and for toys, and level is going to be 0. As far as textbooks are concerned, for textbooks, cat level is 1, and its super category ID is how much here? 1004. Because under stationery only we have textbooks. So like this, we have the table. So into this table, you need to enter only two things. One is cat name, other one is supercat ID. Okay, supercat ID is also not. It's also not a must. Even you can pass null value there. But as far as category name is concerned, it's mandatory. You must enter that. Without entering that, you can't do anything. So now here, take it. If length of LTrim at cat name greater than 0, whenever you have number of characters in the category name, in such cases it is going to be considered, otherwise it will not consider. So it's going to check for this condition. So if the condition is getting satisfied, it tries to execute this piece of code. You can see here, this piece of code will be getting executed. We use here begin and end. Whenever you have to execute more than one statement under one condition. So this condition has to execute more than one statement. Therefore, we need to put here begin and end. First one is what? Inserting. Second thing is actually checking for some other condition there. So here, insert into TBL category, cat name, supercat ID, values at cat name, at supercat ID, we write like this. we are inserting into category table there. We insert into category table. What are the column names we have? One is category name, other one is supercat ID. Values are going to be at cat name, at supercat ID. So we insert category name and category supercategory ID into the category table. Okay. So whenever you try to insert, data may be getting inserted properly. So if it's getting inserted, how many rows are inserted? They'll be those you can get with the help of the at row count. So at row count is a system variable which gets affected with the last operation. So in the last operation, you are trying to insert some data or select some data or update data or delete data. So in such cases, what happens? Rows, how many rows are affected? Automatically, this variable will be set. At row count is a system variable which is manipulated by the system only. So whenever you try to insert here some data into table, into how many rows data is inserted, based on that the at row count is going to be manipulated. So when you insert here only one value into the table, one row is getting affected, therefore at row count can be having a one value there. But here what I have written, if at row count greater than or equal to 1, that means what? If it is minimum some one value, it means what? One row got affected. So if it is less than 1, in such cases, it's not affected at all. So if it is getting affected, what we write here, set at MSG equal to category added successfully. This message we are setting to this. Okay, so here this at MSG is what? Is varchar of 100. It is going to be accepting 100 characters. And when you create procedure, you can pass parameters in this manner. At cat name, varchar of 50. At supercat ID, int. At MSG, varchar of 100 output, like this. So these are called as here parameters. While declaring procedure, you need to specify in parentheses, but while calling, they are not required. Okay. After that, if it is greater than or equal to 1, in such cases, we set this message. Else, what happens? Here we come to begin. Set at MSG equal to category name cannot be empty string. If you don't give any name for that proper name, if you don't give, you simply give space. So in such cases, what happens? It gives this message. What message that is going to be? Category name cannot be empty string. Like this, you get the message. Okay, after that, we are closing it. And here, to handle exceptions, we put begin try and end try. Next thing is what? Begin catch here. So, due to some reason, it may be an exception. We come to this begin catch, print error message. What error message it is exactly? Then error number, error severity we get here. Similarly, we can set this message. Okay, error message is a predefined function. It can display the error message. What error message it is? Suppose you are trying to divide a number with 0. At that time, it's error. Because a number cannot be divided with 0. Similarly, what error number that is? It can give you error number. Similarly, it can give you severity. I was talking about error severity. It can take a value from 0 to 25. From 0 to 25, it can take a value. If it is from 0 to 10, it's only warning. If it is from 11 to 16, so in such cases, it is related to resources or hardware or internal problems. 12 is not used. Now from 70 to 25, it's going to be really very critical error that is. So that may be fatal. Particularly if it's 20 or more than 20, the connection may be getting closed. So like that you have the severity. And here see, error message is going to be varchar, no problem with that. But here error number is going to be a number that you need to convert into string. You have to convert into string, because of that we use here str function. Similarly, error severity is going to be number. So using str, you can convert into here, this into a string. So like this here we use. At the end we set this message here. We are going to send this message at the end. After that what we do? We need to compile this. After creating this, we need to compile. You have to compile here. So set like this, followed by here, just execute. Here go to this, check for the syntax. So check for the syntax here. After checking for syntax, just try to execute. You can start with create procedure and at the end you are ending it. Now check for syntax, after that execute. Now procedure got created for us. We have a procedure called as add new category. Refresh here, the tape, programmability, let us refresh and see refresh. Now see the procedures. You have here USP underscore add new category. Expand this, you have parameters. This is what exactly at cat name, at supercat ID, at MSG. This is going to be returning an integer. This is going to be returning an integer here. This procedure is going to be returning integer. Now what happens? Let us go with this code here. We pass the total three parameters: cat name, supercat ID, and other thing is what? Message. So message is here an output parameter. This is exactly what it's an output parameter. So here with help of output parameter we can be sending information back to the caller. You have caller and calling. So caller is going to be getting message with help of at MSG. Okay. After compiling procedure, now you need to test it. So for testing, we try to see this code. Now what I do here, declare address varchar 100 exec usp underscore add new category textbooks 1004 address out print address. See, already in the given table you have the data. The data is already available for us. Okay, so let me select data from the table. Here this is going to be, here I write not TBL result, this is going to be TBL category. Like this I take it. Now when I execute, here I am going to get the data. Data is like this. We have textbooks. And see, this cat name is actually a unique column. In the case of unique column, duplicate values are not allowed. We can't enter duplicate values. If you try to enter duplicate values, it's wrong actually. You can't enter duplicate values. But you can have null values because we are using their unique constraint. Unique is nothing but it accepts null value. But if you enter any value, it should not be existing value in any other row in the same column. In the same column, in any other row, it should not be having same value. If it contains, it can be duplicate. So duplicates are not allowed in this. So since you have textbooks here, if you try to execute this, what will happen? See. Okay, here, come to this, then here, okay, before that what I do, here in the place of textbooks, I would be making this as, I want to go with a root level category first of all. Root level category I would like to make. So here, instead of stationery this time, I would like to go with something else. Automotives I put. It is going to be automotives, and here in the place of null 1004 I put null like this. It's going to be null value. Now I just select this and execute. This is going to be anonymous code block. First of all, I am declaring here a local variable called as address varchar of 100. It's empty string. Next thing what I do here, exec usp underscore add new category automotives comma null address out. Then print at the address. I am keeping like this. So here, when I declare, when I select and execute, it should be inserting automotives, then followed by, here automotives category added successfully message we should get. See here on the top, we have written category added successfully. That message we should get now. So here in the bottom, if you come down, it says category added successfully. Now go to the table and see again. Here in this, once again, let us try to see. So the table is what? Category. Go to this and execute. It shows now automotives, cat level is 0 and supercat ID is null here. It's going to be null. Now here in the automotives, I want to go with the oils. I just want to insert a new data called as oil in this. Therefore, I put here. Once again, I try to insert this data. What will happen? See. Same data I want to insert again. It should give error. What error? It should say here category would not be added message I should get, and I have to get error message, error number, error severity I should be getting, because this is duplicate data. When you try to enter duplicate data, this catch part should be catching error and appropriate message should be here given for us. Okay, so some violation of the constraint we should get now here. Now come to this one, once again try to execute. So it says here 0 rows affected, error message, violation of unique key constraint. It says what it's saying exactly, unique key constraint, this is error, cannot insert duplicate value, duplicates in key in object. So therefore it is nothing but here error. This is nothing but here error. So here it is catching, this part is catching the exception. Runtime error is caught with the help of the try catch block here. So try catch block, how we write? We use begin try and end try, and here we use begin catch and end catch. In between these, we are going to handle the code actually. Here we try to execute this piece of code between begin try and end try, whatever code is there. So in between them, whatever code is written, it tries to execute. If it can't execute in such cases, the control jumps into begin catch, and here it's going to display appropriate message. First of all, we have error message, then followed by error number 2627. Error severity is how much here? 14. We got like that. Now here see, I don't give any data, just try to enter a null value, not null, some spaces I would like to enter. Even this time it should give this message, category name cannot be empty string. That message we should get. Just try to execute. Category name cannot be empty string, it's saying, because it's containing spaces. But whenever you have spaces, before you insert, you just check actually here, length of LTrim at cat name greater than 0. In such cases, what exactly you do? You try to here execute this. So therefore, here what is happening? It is, since it's removing all the spaces, it becomes empty string. So it does not come into this part. Without coming into this part, straight away jumping into this, it says category name cannot be empty string. This message you are getting. Okay. Now next thing, here this time I would like to put oils. Okay, but as far as automotives are concerned, it is 1009. This is going to be 1009. So when you enter here 1009 as super category ID, it should have here value 1. Whatever row, new row we are adding here, oils, this should be having there, that should be having the level as 1009, like this we take. Then now execute this. Instead of saying oils, I say engine oils. I put like this, then just execute it. So here one row affected, it's giving message. Now come to again here, just try to execute. It says here engine oils and category level is how much here? 1. So it has insert, it automatically added a category level 1. It's happening because of the triggers. So this is in today's session. Further we are going to explore tomorrow about the procedures. Thank you very much.